Hit it.
Well, hey now, good morning. It's the Rob from 106.1 KISS FM here with my tag team partner in podcasting, the Empress of Tomorrow. Here is Jerry Valeri. Good morning, Jer.
I gotta do a thing with my mask if I'm gonna be Oscar.
I'm realizing now I think I've used that on you before, and I try not to replicate, but I may have done that. Sorry.
That's okay. We're doing all right. I'm regrettably I didn't bring a giant cello in for the podcast today. I think that would have been appropriate.
I am so glad that you just mentioned that, because I'm going to be honest with you. So here is the thing. I was, when I title these videos, I try to include one of the most buzzworthy moments from Raw.
Absolutely.
And I agreed that Braun Strowman hitting Elias with the cello was the big moment from Raw last night. I had to Google what that instrument was. I wasn't positive. I thought it was actually a viola, but a viola is like a small violin.
Yeah, so a viola is like a small. So it's a cello, but if he stood up, so some people say it's a stand-up bass. That was more of a that was a cello.
I went with cello, but I did have to Google what it was.
And he broke it. He broke it with his hands trying to play it. Crush, crush, smash.
Did they use the word cello last night?
No, they said bass. They were talking. They kept calling it a bass because it's like a big stand-up bass, and he's carrying it around like a guitar. Listen, I didn't know how you were going to feel about that segment because it's way out of character for Braun Strowman, and it seems like they're testing the waters with a little more comedy with him, with the Alexa Bliss stuff, the Elf thing before Christmas, and now on real regular WWE TV for the first time we see the Monster Among Men doing some comedy stuff. I mean, he's singing, but when he shows, it just makes sense. If Braun Strowman,
it was a real nice touch.
If he's going to fight Elias, who walks around with a guitar on his shoulder, why wouldn't Braun Strowman walk around with a cello on his shoulder? I loved it. And the whole time he was walking up the ramp, I was like, hit him with the cello. Please, God, hit him with the cello. Hit him with the cello. Please hit him with the cello.
Where do you think they got that cello from?
Cellos are us.
We just had a real Bruce and Conrad moment right there. Hashtag it's Miller time.
Roll Tide.
Well done for the people who watch or listen to Something to Wrestle With. I was inspired by those guys. By the way, did you hear Undertaker's episode?
Top notch.
Oh my God, almost 5 hours. So good. Still didn't touch the Bret Hart one in my opinion. But man, 4 hours of almost 5 on Undertaker, 95 to 97. Oh,
I enjoy that podcast more than I should. It's really wonderful. It gets our endorsement for sure. Did you like the Braun Strowman thing with Elias? I thought it was really cleverly done. I thought it was funny, and I thought it was top notch.
But I will also say that's about as much as I'm going to give you this morning because I am really unhappy with Raw.
I wonder if I can get one more thing from you. I'm going to try to get it in a minute.
Yeah, I'll be fair. Go ahead.
I think that forget everything you have a problem with, because I feel like we're going to agree on a lot of that. I feel like the past 2 weeks, Raw has really stepped it up with match quality. The match qualities in and of themselves and the matches they have been good. Miz and John Cena was a good match. Sheamus and Roman Reigns was a good match. The 5-way at the end was a good match. Great matches almost. But I think that the premises for all these matches are missing the mark with us.
So here's a few comments to what you just said. First of all, I will be honest. I fell asleep during the main event. No indictment of the main event. Just I know the finish, kind of. But I was in and out, and when I woke up, it was in whatever the next show was, and I was like, "Oh man, I can't believe it." So I rewound a little bit and saw the tail end, but I missed the main event, so there's that. Second of all, to what you said, I feel like matches fall in one of two categories. People who are given the opportunity to have a great match, and people who are supposed to have a Raw match. So what I mean by that is, Miz and Cena get half an hour. Yeah, I want that to be a great match. And I think the expectations are you're wrestling for half an hour, have a great match.
And I think it was a very, very good match. It was one of John Cena's better matches in recent memory, I think.
I thought it was a fine match. Although I will say this, and shame on me, to be honest with you, but a lot of times matches on Raw don't get my full attention. And shame on them, it's because the show's 3 hours.
And I also think it's because you hated the premise of that match. The minute they started making it about when you're coming out in the Elimination Chamber, sure. I was like, well, Rob is out. Rob is out.
It's the only thing that they're doing this entire month. It's just this one match, who's in it, and when. And I don't give a damn. You could have accomplished all of this. Okay, here, I'll even do you one better. You could do better by just having Kurt Angle come out the night after Royal Rumble and saying who's going to be in the pay-per-view, in the Elimination Chamber.
I only disagree with that because I don't think they should let Kurt Angle come out and say anything ever again.
Whoever. Vince McMahon can do it, whatever you want to do. And then, not only that, in a Royal Rumble-like aspect, I don't want to know who's coming out when.
I don't either. There are only 6 spots, and now we know who's last. We know who's first.
Yeah, Miz is first. Elias is last. Like, this is not exciting anymore.
And we're going to end up having 7 people in it anyway somehow. You watch.
You might be right. Explain to me the main event, please, if you don't mind.
So it was a fatal 4-way. It was called a second chance fatal 4-way, which was actually okay.
Right. Okay.
So it's all the people that lost their qualifying match to get an opportunity. And I saw it as just a way to get Finn Balor into the match. And then Seth Rollins complains to Kurt Angle that he doesn't get an opportunity. And so it becomes a fatal 5-way. And then at the end, there's a pin on Wyatt, and it's done by Finn Balor and Seth Rollins. And they're both covering them. They both roll a leg. 1, 2, 3. They both celebrate in different corners. They don't realize the other one's won. When they do, we go to black.
Okay, so I have one thing before.
So they're going to have a qualifying match again next week. They're just dragging it out another week.
Correct. So did they say that, by the way, or did they just go off the air with confusion?
They just went off the air with confusion, which I actually liked. I said a week or two ago that I want more of that.
Okay, and that's fine. I have no problem with the cliffhanger. So I had one small thing and one big thing. The small thing I'll do first. First of all, Seth did a fantastic job with Kurt in that segment. Kurt is still not great at that role. Seth really, when you think about how far he's come since the Shield, Seth did a great job last night cutting a promo, in my opinion.
He did a great job, and you're being way too kind to Kurt Angle. When we really sink our teeth into that, I'm going to let him have it. I'm done with it. They need to take his microphone away. They need to take it away.
There was a psychological flaw, though, in that segment on the part of Kurt, but I assume it was he was told to do this. So Seth's trying to wiggle his way into the second chance match, and Kurt Angle saying, we can't do that. It's not fair to the other guys. When I'm over here thinking, wait a minute, everyone else already had a chance and blew it. How's it not fair to the other guys? They've already lost their match. Seth didn't even have a chance. Know what I mean? I thought that was just a philosophical misfire for me.
I mean, yes. I love how you're still able to focus on things like that one. I was just hoping that Kurt Angle could get the right words out of his mouth in the correct order. Because the first promo of the night, he couldn't. They gave him 20 seconds and he couldn't get it out. Oh, you're bad. Double E. He's bad. In this role, he's not good at all. And the road to WrestleMania, you can't be off your game. You can't be terrible.
But you know what's funny is you're not wrong, but people still like Kurt in this role, and I think I'm one of those people.
I'm just watching him now to see how bad it's going to get. Every time he has the mic, I'm just like, I mean, I pay attention. Hey, I'm looking because I can't wait to see how he screws it up. And then he does. Never disappoints.
So he can't say WWE. It can be a mouthful.
He can't say the person that loses the match comes out first in the Elimination Chamber. He couldn't even say that. I got to transcribe it.
You remember? My first radio show was in State College. It was a show called the Saturday Night Block Party. And I've trained myself to say it properly, but it used to come out like Kurt Angle saying WW. It's a Saturday Night Block. I couldn't do it.
The Saturday Night Block Party. You had trouble with that?
I used to have a really hard. If I tried to say it fast, it was a hip hop station, so you're supposed to talk fast, and I'm just trying to sound like everyone else because I'm trying to get a job there. And Saturday Night Block Party. I mean, I have to focus on saying it wrong now, but God, another one that gives me a hard time all the time. Anytime this comes up on the radio, I have to acknowledge that, like, I can't say the word brewery.
brewery. You
know, we've all got our things, but unfortunately for Kurt, his is the name of the company.
For me, I always get hung up on philanthropy and philanthropists, like those. If I use them in a sentence, and if I'm flowing off the top of my head, I end up saying, like, it sounds like the name of a dinosaur that they just discovered. Like, it's not a real word.
Well, babe, my point is, you and I aren't Olympic gold medalists, and sometimes words are tough.
You're taking it too easy on him. It's bad. He's one of the worst parts of Raw. He really is. The writing being the worst.
Well, let me give it to you this way. I'd rather have the worst part of Raw be an Olympic gold medalist and the second greatest wrestler to ever set foot in the ring than Vince McMahon's stupid daughter.
Sure.
I'll meet you halfway.
Yeah, sure. Would you rather him or Teddy Long? You'd rather have Kurt Angle, sure. But that's like saying, would you rather have your teeth pulled or fart mustard? Like, they're all bad.
I want to fart mustard.
No, you wouldn't.
I want a double fart mustard.
You'd stain your pants.
Hashtag fart mustard. Stain my pants. I already stain my pants when I fart. At least this time it'll be mustard.
Mustard doesn't come out.
This time it was like something I could dip my hot dog in.
Mustard.
You know what I mean? You know.
Hashtag dip your hot dog in my fart mustard.
Happy birthday, Jake the Snake. All right. So that was my small problem with that match. A small little psychological misfire from Kurt Angle. Listen, I can't chastise them too much for a little thing like that. But man, Jared, these lame finishes the week after the next episode after SmackDown. Oh God, you're killing me with these finishes, man. You're killing me. You're putting a stake in my heart with these stupid effing finishes to get to wrench people into the main events of pay-per-views. It's killing me. I hated the finish. With a capital H.
I hated it because we got to go another week to find out who's the final person in the thing. And
I don't even care about that. It's just the double pin is tired. Here's what's tired to me. WWE, listen. This is where I'm tired. When you have a match to determine a number one contender, I already know both of those people will be in the match. I already know. It doesn't matter if it's a no contest, a dusty finish, a double pinfall. I'm sick of this happening. Please get more creative. I'm just dying. I would have rather Kurt said, you know what, Seth? You make a good point. I'll find a way for you to get into the chamber. You don't even have to earn it. You're a former champion who never lost his title. You've got yourself a chamber. That makes more sense to me than these stupid endings. I hate it. Done.
And then Finn Balor, but they just wanted to get Finn in it. They wanted to get Finn Balor in it, but they couldn't because he lost the beginning of the whole thing to John Cena. They had to get John Cena in.
Okay. I don't care if 7 people are in the chamber. I don't care if 30 people are in the chamber. I don't care. Just stop with the stupid endings. And you just did it on SmackDown. All week, we're looking forward to Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, who's going to be the #1 contender, who's going to face AJ Styles at Fastlane. Oh,
spoiler alert, they both are.
Oh, well, guess what? There's something that happened at the end, and they're both going to wrestle AJ. No crap. Oh, color me shocked. I'm so tired of this.
I actually believed in my heart they were going to just pick one.
Oh, maybe you thought that because at the Royal Rumble, we just saw that match. That's probably why you thought that, Jer, because it would have made a lot of sense. You know what I mean?
He's on fire, people. It's the Rob.
Look, I just had a Lucha Dolce de Lucha pancake at Denny's.
Take it easy, Kurt Angle. Try that again.
My blood sugar's through the freaking roof. So
I just had a double first. I just had
Captain Diabetes is here to fart all over here, to mustard fart all over the podcast.
Happy birthday, Jake Roberts.
Happy birthday, Jake Roberts. Say what?
Say what? We need to start making T-shirts. We'll sell 5 each.
You know what, dude? If we sell 5 T-shirts, I'd be thrilled.
I think we'd sell 5 T-shirts.
But you know, I mean, my mom would be one. I'd be one. You'd probably buy one.
I think Steve would get one. Michael would get one.
Yeah, maybe.
I'll call everybody that buys one, which will be really funny when your mom buys one. And I'll call them like.
I'd be willing to do that. You know.
Yeah. Don't call me. There's a 15% chance that I'll pick up.
So it sounds like I. Yeah, if Jerry buys one and I have to call him, I'll never get in touch with him. Freaking Brother Love can't get in touch with them.
God.
So
twice.
It seems like your reaction to the main event was less negative than mine was.
But it was still negative. Like but it was a good match. Like they're at least giving me engaging matches and good matches. I'm just sick of this whole. Okay, I'll tell you where my real frustration comes in, and
tell us, Jared.
It's all Brock Lesnar's fault. It really is. I hate it. I hate all of these hoops to jump through. Like you got to jump through 30 hoops to then go into the most unwinnable match, a terrible, brutal match, and jump through another awful hoop just to get the chance to fight Brock Lesnar. I know last week when Alexa Bliss was doing her thing, saying that it's like, why does she have to defend her belt, but Brock doesn't? Like, that's so stupid. She has a point. It really is stupid. Like, Brock should defend it, or no one defends it. It shouldn't be like, I hate the whole thing. I hate the whole thing.
It's not Brock's fault.
Brock should be, that championship should be defended more often. I don't want him to be champion anymore. I don't care if it's Roman Reigns that gets it from him. I don't care if it's John Cena that gets it from him. I want somebody to get it from him. I actually would care if John Cena got it from him because he's just as part-time. Well, like I want someone to get it from him that's going to be at a Backlash or is going to be at a Battleground or is going to be at a pay-per-view that normally wouldn't be good, but now all of a sudden you have a freaking championship defense.
I'll meet you halfway here as well. And I will say, I do like not having a title match every week. I'm cool with that. And even here's where I'll meet you. I do believe, like back in the new generation days when I started watching, there was a 30-day, you had to defend the title every 30 days no matter what your title was. And I believe that should still be a rule. And it should be a thing. Like it should be like a thing on TV where like, oh, Brock's 30 days are coming up. You know, he'll defend his title next week in Chicago or whatever it is, or maybe it's Backlash or whatever. It should be every month, but I'm cool with once a month.
I'm fine with that, but it's once every 3 months, and now
that's where I'll agree with you.
And now that Raw doesn't have, and this is a huge problem, and this is why we heard that rumor today that they might start doing dual brand pay-per-views again, because
which I want to talk about soon.
Because Raw has a problem, and their problem is the pay-per-views that don't have Brock Lesnar, they don't have a championship to defend on it, so they've got to find a way to dress that pig up and put lipstick on it. And hence the #1 contender thing. They're making much ado about nothing because Their championship is in Minnesota, and no one can get to it until Brock Lesnar shows up with it.
And therein lies the other problem in what you just referred to Elimination Chamber as a pig, that they're dressing up the pig. And I'm not saying I disagree with you as far as the buildup goes. To me, it is a very piggish pay-per-view. And then here's the thing. These Raws that are their job is to establish, to dress up the pig. Can you imagine if the final product is the pig of Elimination Chamber? What I'm thinking of these Raws that are dressing up the pig?
Right.
It's like bonus features on a movie you freaking hate.
I also think an Elimination Chamber is not a match you need to see every year.
Oh, my God. Let alone twice in a night.
Twice in a night. An Elimination Chamber match should be to unify a championship, or instead of doing a tournament, something like that. It should settle a problem with a lot of people. It doesn't have to be force feeding everybody into it because, it's March. We got to get the pay-per-view on.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've been here before too, and we both agree on that one.
And they did the 2 Elimination Chambers before in one night. Remember, they did the tag team Elimination Chamber, and I thought it was too much.
Well, and there's been plenty of times where Raw and SmackDown have both had one.
Right, it's too much.
Well, we can either take a break from Raw or we can wrap up Raw, because I do feel like the biggest news that's come out of the past few days is this inside rumor and innuendo that they're about to start combining both brands to the pay-per-views.
Yeah, let's get right into that. There's only 2 other things to talk about on Raw, so just move right by it.
Well, okay, what else did you want to talk about?
It doesn't even I think it should be mentioned that so we at least have a plan for Ronda Rousey. We know when we see her again.
Boy, and she's a pretty polarizing topic among serious fans. Am I crazy for being cautiously optimistic about this? Like, I feel like she's going to do fine. You and I both are in agreement that she's not going to be Brock Lesnar. She's going to be like a Ken Shamrock or something, like a Steve Blackman. She's going to do well, I think. And I hope she surprises. I hope she's really putting in the work at the Performance Center, and I bet she is. A lot of times, though, I'm talking to serious fans, not so much the ones on the post show, that are like really anti this, and I don't get why.
Yet they cream their jeans for CM Punk going to MMA. I mean, it's the same thing. She's trying to do it the other way around, and I think she'll be more successful.
But my thing is I think I said this before on the show. I forget if it was a conversation I had on the air or off the air, but Rousey, first of all, she's a legit celebrity, like probably more so than Ken Shamrock was, but at the very least equal when Ken Shamrock came over. So she's got like a legit name. B, she's a legit tough person who knows how to keep her body in shape, who is no stranger to the gym. And 3, she grew up a legit wrestling fan. Like, I don't even think Shamrock could say that. Like, I don't understand what people are so worried about with this.
Yeah, I don't. Some people just need to hate. They don't like the mainstream because it's mainstream. That's why people like things in the Tokyo Dome.
And oh my God, if I need to hear again that she lost her last 2 MMA fights, guys, this is pro wrestling. Do you think anyone gives a turd that she lost her last 2 fights?
Yeah, Brock Lesnar was tapped out to Frank Mir in his first MMA fight. Nobody seems to remember that or cares.
Yeah, exactly right. Like this is just, it's apples and pomegranates.
Right, of course. So yeah, there's that one. I'm excited for her to come in, and the other one is no disrespect to one of my favorite tag teams ever. No disrespect to Goldberg, who I mark out for, or Ivory, but this is a really uninspiring Hall of Fame class.
Oh boy, I was talking with one of my buddies about this last night too. Here's the best way I can sum up Ivory's impact on wrestling. She was there. I don't think she's a bad choice. I don't think she's a good choice. It doesn't move the meter for me at all. I'm not saying she's not worthy, but I am saying I don't care.
The only thing that meant anything to me last night, the only impact that announcement had was when they announced that it was Ivory. I went, oh, okay. So this is not China's year.
Right. Yeah. And boy, and here's the list of people who I feel like are more deserving than Ivory. China is probably the most deserving woman not in the Hall of Fame. I think we can probably all agree on that.
Yeah.
This one I think is up for grabs. Feel free to agree or disagree, but I'm going to say even Terry Reynolds more deserving than Ivory. I think her impact on wrestling was probably a little bit bigger, to be honest with you.
I think I would disagree just because she didn't wrestle as Ivory did a lot more in that regard. Terry was a very good ballet.
Fair enough, but I have many more memories surrounding Marlena and Terry Reynolds than I do Ivory. But sure, I'll let you have that if you want.
Okay.
I feel like Stacy Keibler is more deserving to be in the Hall of Fame than Ivory, and you could probably say the same for Tori Wilson, and that's probably about it right now.
Right, but China should be the next one in. It should be.
There's just no doubt about it, and yeah, I thought this would be the year too, but whatever.
Well, she still could be because I mean, she doesn't. So they used the girl spot, but they haven't used the dead person spot. I mean, they always put a dead.
Right.
There's still room in the dead spot.
Boy, wouldn't it be great if Nia inducts China? So yeah, there was that. I really just I can't get excited this year for the Hall of Fame. I just can't.
So far, it's a real bust. Now let's get into the news story. Let's get into this big one because when I first read it, I thought it was fake news, but it looks like it could actually be real.
Yeah, and I've got mixed opinions about this. So my gut instinct was, sweet, like this is exciting. Maybe the pay-per-views will be a bit more watchable now because.
Well, tell people what it is.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so what we've been hearing over the past, I'll say 24 to 48 hours, is that WWE is probably going to be having their pay-per-views feature Raw and SmackDown matches. So, and here's the thing I feel about some of this. Oh yeah, Steve made a really good observation. I just got a message from Steve. Way more deserving than Ivory. Do you agree with this one, Jer? Sable.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, absolutely.
She would be number 2, I think, under China. I won't bite her. China should be next, but then I think Sable should be for sure.
Agree down the line with you there. I think China, then Sable, then the rest. And
I'm surprised that Sable's not going in as a way to stroke Brock Lesnar a little extra.
Sable's still. I feel like the ship hasn't sailed on Sable yet.
Sure.
So yeah, the rumor being that the WWE, their pay-per-views will feature matches from both brands. So part of me likes this and part of me doesn't like this. Do you want me to go on, or do you want to share how you feel?
I want to hear it. I really want to hear your opinion because mine's probably just going to mirror yours, maybe be slightly different.
Here's the thing. On the positive, I think pay-per-view quality will improve. On the negative, this kind of undoes why you do the brand extension in the first place. Right?
Right. Well, I also think that this is the first step towards undoing that. I think this was more of a flop than they expected.
Let me be the first to say, I hope you are right. I don't see it happening immediately, but my God, I hope you are right.
It's a slow turn. They're going to, I mean, just the mere reasoning behind this is that the pay-per-view match cards are stale. That tells me everything I need to know. Then what do they think about the shows? They must think that Raw and SmackDown are stale, and they are. I mean, it's hard to come up with new combinations, and Raw's in deep trouble because they don't have a champion that you can even see most times. I don't want to. But what do you do? How do you? I mean,
I told you how to fix this. It's in the writing room. Like I said, the example with the board.
But now you're stripping titles from people. Now you've got to take a title away from AJ Styles, possibly. Now do you take the championships away from Sheamus and Cesaro or the Usos? Like,
you make it fun. You combine them.
Have an elimination chamber.
Well, I don't want to keep comparing. I don't want to keep bringing up something to wrestle with Bruce Pritchard, Conrad Thompson, but they were saying something that was just so damn inspiring to me in this Undertaker episode. Have you finished it?
I'm about an hour away. Go ahead.
In 95, 96, whether it was in your house pay-per-views or television tapings for Raw, Conrad asked Bruce, why is Undertaker on so many of these dark matches after the show instead of on TV? And Bruce told him Undertaker was special. We didn't want him on TV every month. For example, whenever Undertaker came back, it spiked the rating, as you could see. Even if he was off for a month, if people knew Undertaker was going to be wrestling, they would watch. And then the live crowd would still be happy because they got to see Undertaker. And he said it kept him special. And I hear that and I say, that's really smart. We don't need to see 100% the same casts on Raw and SmackDown every week. Let some guys rotate in and out. SmackDown's doing a better job of it. You know, you didn't see Corbin last week or Ziggler, and you'll see them tonight. Stuff like that.
Raw has no choice. Raw has no choice.
Let some of these guys take a week or two off or
they
whatever.
Can't because they don't have enough guys, and they have 3 hours to fill.
But besides Brock Lesnar, there's nobody special like that.
And Braun should be.
Well, you know, maybe Braun isn't even the best example, but like, you know, Cena, we're seeing him every week. I don't feel like I'm seeing something special when I hear the trumpets right now. There's really nobody else. You know, when Miz was off for a month, like really, he wasn't gone for that long to film the movie. When he came back, I was excited.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
That's all I'm saying. You know,
well, at some point, you're going to hear Triple H's music. Is that going to excite you? Because that's going to happen.
Because it's WrestleMania season, and you know how I feel about these part-timers stealing all the limelight from the full-timers at WrestleMania. And it doesn't bother me when it's a Goldberg, which is like, you know, twice in history. It bothers me with a Triple H, especially, also Undertaker, but where the gimmick is you come back and wrestle WrestleMania, go after yourself.
Yeah,
at least with Undertaker, they want to see him. There
are 3 of them. Who are the?
I'll keep it at least Undertaker. They want to see.
Yeah, Undertaker is one of them. Triple H is the other, and 3
is Shane McMahon.
Shane McMahon.
And go F yourself. I know all of you guys have the power to do this. We know.
Shane McMahon must have a WrestleMania match. Why?
Shane must pose.
Must.
Shane must jump.
At least Triple H and Undertaker make some sense. I mean, last year they made AJ Styles wrestle his first WrestleMania match ever, or his second rather, against Shane McMahon. His first. I couldn't believe it.
I'm only gonna go as far as saying Undertaker deserves it and should. He's the one guy that it all makes sense.
Right.
Triple H and Shane. And listen, Triple H is probably one of my top 10 favorites ever.
Oh, he's in mine for sure.
But I don't like him in this capacity. I don't.
It's Survivor Series. I better wrestle. It's WrestleMania. It's time to go.
So how do you feel about the mixing of these shows?
I think that it's necessary. I just hope that I hope they don't do something stupid like have a scoreboard. I hope that it's not like Survivor Series.
No, I don't think all that.
And I just wonder. It'll make it special because some guys won't get on pay-per-views. You know.
Yeah, but that's the thing. We got to make sure everyone gets their exposure. Like I said before, this is the way to do it. And I'm sorry to those who've heard this before. Because
you don't want to see 2 tag championship matches in a night and then 2 world championship matches.
I was not for having 2 titles on one for every show. My way of doing it's so easy to just do this. If you could combine the 2 rosters, which we had before, you would have one hell of a roster. Now you have 2 lousy ones. And all you need to do is write the show the same way, but you have to write a week at a time as opposed to a night at a time. So what I mean is take everything that happened on Raw this week, you write it out like a storyboard, and then you take everything that happens on SmackDown tonight and you write it down like a storyboard, and then you shuffle up what night you do those segments on so that you don't know what angle is going to play out on which show, but you know that AJ is going to find out what's going on with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. You just don't know what's going to happen on Monday or Tuesday. You do the same things, just you've got the whole roster to play with now.
Does it help their house show business? I'm trying to think of like how it benefits them off of television. Like if that's an angle.
I mean, yes, you can tour another brand, and it is. Yeah, I see the pros to it. Like I get it. And I think that also they thought they'd have more stars if they do it this way. But you could add the same amount of stars and the same amount of tours if you also wrote the shows. I don't even want to say differently because you can still write it the same way. You just have to do a week at a time as opposed to a day at a time. That's all.
It's too much.
Think about how much you could have had a legit championship run with Jinder if you could have messed around with the Raw guys. But instead, you had just only 2 people to choose from, and one was kind of a stretch.
And Randy Orton's terribly boring, and they're gonna work him in.
That's all.
Randy Orton's gonna wrestle Bobby Roode at WrestleMania, and I'm gonna hate it.
I don't even know. I don't know anything I'm looking forward to at WrestleMania. I don't. AJ and Nakamura should at least be good, but I don't care yet.
I get super fired up about Braun Strowman, and I get excited, but then I keep hearing he's going to be in a mixed tag match against Triple H, and I'm going to want to kill myself.
Anything else you want to mention before we sign off? This is a fun episode.
I'm wearing my Christmas Story shirt, and I feel good about it.
It does look good. You look good in that shirt.
Feeling good. You said The Miz went.
Yeah, The Miz, not this past week, but the week before on Total Divas, he and Maurice shot some WWE stuff at the Christmas Story house. I think it may have aired already, though. It
really is an incredible place. It's so much fun there. You go into the Christmas Story house, and it's like being in the movie.
What just happened to your phone?
Somebody called me.
And now you're echoing.
How's that?
Who called?
It was a random number. I think it was the American Red Cross, those blood-sucking vampires.
Have you ever seen footage of The Miz dressed up in the bunny suit from that movie?
No, but I almost bought a bunny suit, but it was $100, and I couldn't justify it.
Oh, my God, that would have been amazing. That would have been amazing to have seen you do an episode in the bunny suit.
I couldn't justify it. If Kelly wasn't with me, I think I might have pulled the trigger. I couldn't. She wouldn't let me get a full-size leg lamp either. I got the Christmas ornament leg lamp though.
I feel like now we're just talking to talk. Should I sign things off?
You can sign things off. I'm talking to tell you about the Christmas Story house. Like, I can talk about that all day, but we can do that another time, and it's not a wrestling podcast. So yeah, go ahead.
Fragile?
It's a major award.
Must be Italian. Did you watch the Christmas Story live musical?
No.
Oh, it was really good.
No, I don't believe it.
Really?
I don't want to mess with what I love.
Why?
I don't want to. I don't want to fudge it up. I think I'd hate it. I think I'd hate it.
Oh, with that mentality, of course you would, but I liked it. What else can we talk about besides wrestling today?
Christmas?